First, we begin with this week's hearing. Lawmakers grilled DJS Secretary Vincent Schiraldi about oversight and accountability. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost breaks down what we learned and questions the Senate president about what comes next.
We're back here at the accountability desk and these whiteboards because I want to walk you through what we learned during this week's Judicial Proceedings Committee, where lawmakers grilled the leader of the Department of Juvenile Services. Secretary Schiraldi says the department no longer records phone calls of juveniles who are inside the facilities. DJS no longer does routine drug testing unless substance abuse is suspected. We also learned that there isn't adequate data management systems in place to track the performance outcomes for all of the services and programs that DJS sends kids to across the entire state of Maryland. But there were two moments, really, where lawmakers' frustrations with the secretary and the information he was providing that were on display. First, when questions were raised about how the department even defines when a juvenile recidivates.
What's the overall trend? Is it trending up, or is it like for the while? I know month to month is different.
It just depends on the facility, because there's
Right.
8 different facilities. Some of them we had real problems with. We placed the superintendents. We switched around staff. We did work plans to
Across
fix
the
it.
enterprise, though, like, is it up or down?
It's kind of a little of both. Really, kind of goes up and down.
So I just have to clarify this. So your answer to the chairman is that when he asked you whether something was up or down, is that a little of both up and down?
Some are up and some are down.
But overall?
Overall, I believe it's relatively stagnant. I'll get you the data.
And then there was even more tension when Secretary Schiraldi was asked about reports of assault on staff members inside facilities.
If someone does something bad and then does it a second time, most people would say, yes, that person has recidivated.
Done it another time, from the standpoint of this august body, is an interesting phrase. And I am not a lawyer, and I don't mean to parse, but Senator, when do we define that someone's done something?
My point is, if someone does something and then does it again, and you resolve an intake or informal that everyone in this room and everyone watching at home would say that person reoffended.
Given these issues, I questioned Senate President Bill Ferguson about the leadership at DJS.
I've been very frustrated that I learned through this report just how lacking information existed between services being referred and the outcomes of those services. And it's something that I knew that there were challenges. I did not know the extent of the challenges.
But at this point, though, given where we are and what we've seen and the challenges that continue to persist, how long is the General Assembly willing to provide this level of oversight before something changes and you call for perhaps leadership change?
Our job is to provide the oversight and accountability through budget and through hearings to understand what's happening and to make sure that if something's going wrong, that we are applying the right pressure to get it fixed.
Are you doing that?
I believe we are.
Senator Ferguson says last year was filled with a lot of negotiations between lawmakers to get the changes to the juvenile justice laws made. Now he says he wants to see the tools that the General Assembly gave DJS implemented effectively. If the role of the General Assembly is oversight, is that a failure of that role to not know that information sooner?
No, I don't think so. I think at the end of I believe the prior secretary was discussing the need for new case management systems. At any time in government, we're focused on lots of things. I think it's been very clear that young outcomes for young people who have broken the law have not been acceptable. I think we really wanted to make sure we understood first what tools were not available in the law. Now we're really focused in on the implementation of those tools. And so I think it is the appropriate time to do a performance evaluations of the use of the legal tools available to impact kids and families.
Not really a direct answer from Senator Ferguson about whether he believes there does need to be a leadership change at DJS. Senator Ferguson says it's up to the governor to hire and fire secretaries. So we sent his office some questions, asking, are you confident in DJS Secretary Schiraldi's ability to lead the agency? If not, are you willing to call for his resignation? Have you directed Secretary Schiraldi to look for a new job? The governor's office has yet to get back to us on these questions. As the session unfolds, I'll be tracking the developments and holding leadership accountable as these concerns about DJS persist. At the Accountability Desk, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.